I went to a store today, guys, and when I went to that store, I was very much surprised. I showed up on Monday or something, and prices were really good. We were killing it. I was basically stealing shoes. You know what I mean? And then I think because of my resurgence in the thrifts, because I haven't been at the thrifts in 6 months. I I came back to the thrifts. The prices were a little bit lower because they weren't moving shoes as quickly, and they're like, hey, let's see if we can catch a couple extra dollars off of these pairs that we sell. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I would want to do the exact same thing if I was selling too many shoes. I probably should have done that when I was selling the pallets, to be fair. But yeah, so if I want the higher quality shoes, it looks like going forward I'm gonna have to pay significantly more. And significantly more, I'm referring to, like, before maybe they were $9 and now they're gonna be about $12, $13. And yeah, sure, $3 to $4 isn't that much per pair, but if you think about it, $3 to $4 over the course of 100 shoes is $400 extra. You know what I mean? Per week. So I think it's going to be a significant increase. Sorry, that's my alarm. I think it's going to be a significant increase for us, but I don't think it's going to be so bad that it puts us out of business or something like that. I just have to be really, really diligent, and I'm starting to feel that the shoe game is going to be how skilled are you at being able to buy shoes at $10, between $10 to $20, and make good profits. That's what I think. That's where I think we're going when it comes to the shoe game, especially when it comes to sneakers. At those places that I went to, and a lot of places that are in my area are starting to do this. Men's sneakers are significantly higher, probably because they're more rare. So when it comes to women's sneakers, they're a little bit more affordable, a little bit more manageable. But I think I just need to fine tune my skill of buying shoes sorry if you guys hear Zaya crying, we're returning home. I'm gonna have to fine tune my skill of being able to buy shoes for $10 and sell them for $40. Buy shoes for $15, sell them for $50, $60. You know what I mean? That's not how it's always gonna be margins wise. For 10, I want to be at minimum at 30, 35. When I'm buying for 15, I want to be at 40 to 45, if not higher. And then when I'm buying for like $20, I want to make some pretty good money. So we're looking for $60 or so, if not higher than that. So Mariah, you said you had a couple of questions. What you got?
What were you looking for when you were shopping?
She said, what was I looking for when I was shopping? That one, primarily, oh, one more thing. So I'm gonna answer that in just a second. For me, I think going forward, I'm going to have to focus on, a lot of my other categories, continue building my knowledge in boots, sandals, Mary Janes, loafers, flats, men's Oxfords, men's loafers, so on and so forth, sandals, so that when boots too, so that when I go out into these places, I'm able to make a significant amount of money on those, because I feel like those are relatively underpriced. The sneakers are priced appropriately, but in the other categories, I'm just not seeing the same overpricing, I guess. They kind of have more of a blanket price, so they don't necessarily know what they're looking at. So I think it's going to be my job to take full advantage of that and significantly strengthen my position in those categories. Now, what was I looking for? For this trip, I was looking primarily for things that I could sell for $40 because I didn't want to spend too much money. I think we spent $200 or so, give or take. I think the first store was $120 something and the second store was $71. So about $200. And I think I was looking primarily for shoes that I could sell for about $40 or so at minimum. When it comes to my listing price, at least, I might have to take an offer on some of those where I sell them for $30, but other ones they'll sell for around, 40 or higher.
What criteria meets the I gotta sell this for $30, $40?
As in, how much I need to pay for them?
No, what does a shoe have to look like?
Well, I mean, it's not what the shoe looks like. I guess you're talking about condition. The condition has to be nigh perfect.
Yeah.
Might be a little bit of turbulence. It was rough trying to get out of that left turn or whatever. But you asked condition. So yeah, basically they have to be nigh perfect. No significant upper discoloration, no significant midsole discoloration. Ideally, the tread is almost perfect. For us to be able to do that. And then also you gotta make sure you have appropriate sizes. So you don't want to have a men's 4.5. And I'm honestly not picking up any kid shoes. There were several pairs of kid shoes that I was thinking man, I may be able to sell these for $30. I may be able to sell these for higher. But to be fair, there are so few scenarios where I have successfully sold, kid shoes at $40, $50 per pair.
Right.
So if I'm paying $9, $12 for a pair of kid shoes, it just doesn't make sense for me. Now, there were some examples when I was there where there were kid shoes for $7. But even still, it was like a really nice pair of Nike Free 5.0s, but for kids, but it was a different style of them. And those, I mean, I could sell them theoretically for $29.99, or at least that'd be my starting price. But if they end up selling for 18 or something because somebody wants to get it for their kid and they don't want to pay too much, then it's just not super worth it. It'd have to be something where I don't know. It has to be like a specialty shoe for me to be paying, for me to pick up a kid shoe, basically. Like kids Jordans, I'll pick those up and sell them for, $30, $40. But regular kid shoes, it's just hard. It's really, really hard. So I'm not really picking up that many of those.
What counts as an appropriate size exactly?
Oh, that's what I was explaining. So like an inappropriate size would be like a youth 4Y, right? Because even if you converted it over into a women's, it'd be a women's 5.5, which isn't, there's not too many people
common.
it's not a super common size. You're not going to get a bunch of sales there. Same thing with like a youth 3.5, because that's going to be a women's 5. Same thing. Women's 5 in general. In some cases, women's 6 are probably not as desirable. I still pick up women's 6s. I still list them. It's just that when it comes to, is this a size that I'm going to make a bunch of money on? Maybe not. You know what I mean? And then when it comes to men's, men's 6.5, men's 6, men's 5.5, same thing. It's just harder sizes for me to be able to truly sell. So in general, I'm going to avoid them.
So if you see a shoe for a good price,
yeah,
at a much bigger size,
yeah,
would you still pick it up? Or
so for example, I picked up a pair of New Balances that were that are wide. So they were like a size 8.5 wide or something like that. And in that scenario, I'm like, okay, I'm willing to pay this price for these because I think I can get my $40 on this pair. And also in the scenario of like a women's 12 or something, I will do that. It's just, not usually as desirable, not as common, but you can still sell them and get good money. There are plenty of women that wear a size 12. And then here's the problem with like bigger sizes versus smaller sizes, right? So when it comes to smaller sizes, the people who wear like a women's 5, a women's 5.5, a women's 4.5, those people are likely wearing kid shoes, right? Because they're going to convert. They're cheaper and they can convert those kid shoes into their appropriate sizes, right?
Okay, yeah.
So like a person that wears a women's 5, they might wear like a youth 3.5, or a youth 4, and then they're able to get their shoes at a significantly cheaper price. But if you wear a women's 12, there's no conversion for you except for men's shoes, where you can wear a men's 10.5, and a men's 10.5 is just as expensive as a women's 12 is. You know what I mean? So it allows you to get those higher prices on the bigger sizes. That same thing doesn't necessarily apply though on the smaller ones. Yeah. Unless you have like a women's 6, you can sell a women's 6 at your ideal price. It's just harder. You know what I mean?
So if you took that same women's 6, you did the kid size, would it sell faster?
If you did the kid size, it would not sell faster. It'd sell slower. More people will be looking for the women's 6 than the youth 4.5.
Oh.
Yeah. In general. Especially depending on like what type of shoe we're talking about. Like if we're talking about a flat, like no one's looking for a youth 4.5 flat. You know what I mean? Like a pair of women's flats, like ballet flats.
Yeah.
No one's looking for that. But there are people who are looking for that, but not.
Once again, how often do they?
Yeah, how often are you going to get that sale? It'd be way easier to get the women's 6 flat sale than it would be to get the women's the youth 4.5 flat sale. It just depends on what kind of shoe we're talking about. If it's sneakers, then like they're not even. The women's category has way more sales than like the youth category does. It's not even close. You asked me something a second ago. Do you remember what it was? It was about bigger sizes. Yeah. And then the same thing would apply to like men's 13, 14, 15, 16.
Yeah. That's like the sizing I was specifically thinking of, like 12 and up.
Yeah, those you can sell those. I think up to size 15 is easier. past size 15 gets a lot harder, like 15 and a half, 16, 17s.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just not as common, and it's going to be difficult for you to get somebody to close on that. It's just a bit more difficult. And that's not true. It's not as hard to get someone to close for it. It's just there's not as many shoppers that wear a size 16. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But the upside about those bigger sizes that they usually come in like extra wise and stuff like that, which could allow them to be more profitable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's it for me then.
We're at 6 minutes. I mean, we can keep talking. I got plenty to chop up with you about. What else you got want to know about the thing? Normally you ask like bangers and stuff, I guess.
None of my questions were bangers.
No, I'm talking about like as in did I buy any bangers?
Well, did you buy any bangers, sir?
I think the best thing, I got some like Vince Camuto boots that I'm willing to test out. I think I can go for $59.99 on them, and I bought them for $11. Vince Camuto is usually not a brand that I think that I can do that with, but they're a knee-high style, so I think I can go higher in the price point, especially based off of what I was seeing in the comps when I was in the store. I picked up a pair of like specialty Converse that like 2 or 3 pairs of specialty Converse that might sell for somewhere between $39.99 and $49.99, which could be cool. Maybe even higher than that. It could be $49.99 to $59.99, depending on
color, or is it like a collab?
They're a collab. One of them's a collab, and the other one's just like a. They're both collabs, but I don't know what the second collab is, so I can't tell you for sure until I get them home. Other bangers. I don't know, because like I said last time, I don't normally think of my sourcing that way. It's not like, ooh, I found this really, really. Oh, I did find a pair of Jordan 1s Ultra Highs. Those should sell for like $120, $130, based off of what I was seeing comp wise. So that one pair should be able to pay for
the entire first trip.
Second trip. Yeah, because if I
get the first one.
Yeah, the second trip, I think we spent $70. So that one, if I sell them for $120, $130, I should get the whole 70 back at minimum. And then it'll cut into a little bit of the first trip, exactly. But yeah, you know, a lot of it was primarily shoes that I can sell that I will be pricing between $39.99 to $59.99. And any pair that I price in there, you know, I'm willing to take like $10 or so below it.
Okay, I was just going to ask that. Like, what's your like minimum? Okay.
My minimum isn't $10. It's like $15. But I'm willing. Ideally, I'll take somewhere between like $10 to $15 per pair. But my only problem with that is when you have something priced at 40 and you take 15, you end up selling it for 25. And if you didn't buy it at the right price, $25 in some cases just doesn't make that much sense. It's not that it's not profitable. You just end up making $12 or something, or $8. It just depends. Because you see, if it goes right near us and like to Louisiana or something, that's different. But if it goes to, you know, California or Oregon or Hawaii, then it's going to be significantly. The shipping goes up a lot. It's significantly less profitable. But I did recently make some adjustments to our shipping in order to make these further sales a bit more profitable for us, and the closer sales also more profitable. You good? All right. So hopefully it was valuable to you guys. We'll talk to you soon, and peace.